season in 72. And no college team before or since, as it turns out, had ever won, at that time, no college team had ever won more than 2 national championships in a row. So if we could get to the College World Series and then be fortunate enough to win, we were going to set a record of the 3rd straight national championship. Obviously, we all desperately wanted to do that. It was a big deal, and so we did win that year for the 3rd time. We won the next year for the 4th time, and that was that crew that we had my junior year. Freddie Lynn was a center fielder, and I played shortstop, and Rich Dower played third, and I mean we had a good team, and then so good that Steve Kemp, terrific outfielder for Detroit and the Yankees, was a freshman when we were juniors. He couldn't make the lineup, and so that was kind of an indication of the kind of club that we had. But Steve Kemp and the boys that came after us won for the 5th time the next year. So 5 national titles in a row. I've said there were streaks in sports, records that couldn't be broken. DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak being probably the paramount, the pinnacle of that. We'll never see that again. I thought that Lou Gehrig's consecutive game streak would never be broken, and Cal Ripken did it primarily as a shortstop, which is equally astonishing to me. That breaking that record and the record that he set was equally astonishing to me. So I can't say that no college team will win 5 in a row or 6, beat our record and win 6, but let's just say it's highly unlikely. So those were glory years and wonderful years for me. So our junior year, trying to win for the 4th time in a row, and as I said, we had a terrific team. We won our first 3 or 4 games, and there were only 3 teams left: us and Arizona State, which was the other powerhouse and the upstart Golden Gophers. And they really had a nice team. I subsequently since I came to Minnesota, have run into and gotten to know some guys on that were on that Gopher team, and good athletes and good guys. And anyway, we were in a situation where both Minnesota and Arizona State had 1 loss each, and we were undefeated. So it was a double elimination tournament. We were in the driver's seat. If we were going to play Minnesota, we were scheduled to play Minnesota. If we win, they're eliminated, and Arizona State would have to beat us twice to win. Highly unlikely. If the Gophers beat us, then it would be a round robin. I mean, it's 3 teams. Whoever whoever won the toss and got the bye, the other 2 teams would eliminate one of them and then play the other one for the national championship, right? So we knew what was at stake. The Gophers knew what was at stake. They were fighting for their lives. We did not want. We wanted to play Arizona State with a 2-game with a game cushion, right? And so we're going to play the Gophers, and Dave Winfield is rested and ready to pitch.
Uh-oh.
And so a little side story. We were not in the best of shape because we had depleted our starting pitching. We were down to our 3rd or 4th starter, and it was a goofy left-hander. I'll never forget this. Goofy left-hander named Cliff Holland. We're sitting around. So our coach Rod Dato has a lunch, and we're having lunch, and we're sitting around doing scouting reports, and we're talking about the opposing hitters. Anybody know this guy? Anybody know this guy? College players knew of each other because we'd play in the summer in the Cape Cod League or up in Alaska or different places, and a lot of times we would know some of the better college players. Okay, coach says Dave Winfield batting 4th and pitching. Dave Winfield, I'm assuming most of you guys know him. So our goofy left-handed pitcher Cliff Holland says, "Yeah, I know. I played with him. We were teammates up in Fairbanks, for a couple of summers. I know him real well. He doesn't like the ball in on him. So I think that the first time up, I'm just going to drill him." Freddie, Lynn, and I jump up and go, no. We're not going to do that. We're not going to have him start picking out designated targets, throwing 190. When Dave Winfield pitched, it looked like he stepped halfway. His hand was halfway to the plate when he delivered the ball. For college players, to see a 6'5" or 6'6" guy that threw. He threw hard
with long arms and velocity.
Yeah, and he had long arms and legs and velocity, and he was nasty. So we quickly put the kibosh on that. That's not happening. But as we played the game now, we go out there and play, and Winfield's just dealing. He's just blowing, and he hits us through 8 innings. They got us beat 7-0. They knock our starter out. It's 7-0 after 8 innings. So we go out we're the home team. We go out for the top of the 9th. Now it's 7-0. We're being one hit. We're thinking about, hey, we got to play this round robin first team. You lose, you're done, right? After this game, we're beat. First guy up from Minnesota tries to bunt for a base hit. Freddie Lynn starts screaming. I'm yelling at this guy. Freddie is screaming. He went ape. He's screaming at this guy. You Bush, so and so, because we're the 3-time defending national champions. You got us beat 7-0. You're going to bunt for a hit in the 9th, and so we get that guy out. Next guy comes up, tries to bunt for a hit. I thought Freddie was going to run in from center field. I've never said Freddie's the most mild-mannered guy. He was crazed. We get him out. We go in. Freddie was yelling in the dugout. They were true dugouts with chain link fence to protect. He ripped the chain link fence off of its moorings. Just pulled it down, screaming. Well, it fired everybody up, and we went up there, and the first 3 or 4 guys got singles off of Winfield. Now, at the time, I think Winfield had thrown about 150 pitches. He was 3-2 on a lot of us, because we were fouling pitches off. What happens? A guy throws that hard is that guy he didn't have pinpoint control, and when he did throw the ball over, we get a lot of foul balls, and because we didn't put the ball in play, so he'd throw just a boatload of pitches. So 3 or 4 hits in a row, and it's 7-2 or something like that. And the chief, Coach Siebert, goes out and takes Winnie out, puts him out in left field, brings to keep him in the game, puts somebody else in. Well, the roof fell in. We got 4 more consecutive hits. Now it's 7-5, I think, or something. And I think something happened. I can't remember, but Coach Siebert got thrown out of the game for arguing with about some play, and he goes out. So George Thomas is the assistant coach. He goes out and waves at Winnie to come back in. Now it's 7-5. You got to come back in and save the day, right?
Wow.
Well, Winnie had thrown 150 pitches, and now he's out there in the cold. It's his arms stiffened up, and I'll never forget this. He folded his arms and put his into. He says, I'm not coming. Well, my gosh, he was going to be one of the first players drafted in a week. Yep. In the professional draft, so he wouldn't come back in. They brought somebody else in, and so we tied the score. There's a runner with a base hit by somebody on our team, and so there were 2 out and runner on first base. It's 7-7. So our coach put the backup shortstop. The guy that played behind me was a young man named Marvin Cobb. And Marvin Cobb played defense and played for the football team and played shortstop. For us, it was my backup, and then he played shortstop as a starting shortstop the next year when they won again. But great defensive back, ended up playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. Had a terrific NFL career, but and he could fly, obviously. And so he goes into run at first base, pinch run at first base for the potential winning run. Everybody in the ballpark knew he was going to steal. Takes off on the first pitch, slides in, safe, Our little left fielder, Creighton Tevlin, was up, our leadoff hitter. Next pitch, Creighton singles up the middle. Marvin scores. I'm not even a play, right? We win 8-7. We scored eight runs in the bottom of the ninth to come back and beat them 8-7. Arizona State guys walked away from the park. A bunch of them told me later when we played with some Arizona State guys later that summer. They said we walked away from the park saying, "We're done. We can't beat these guys.
Wow,
it's over." And we came back and beat them 4-2 the next night and won our fourth straight.
Wow. That's quite an array of names you've mentioned during the show. Man, those are some great stories. By the way, I was, my buddy Joe Christensen, who used to cover the Twins, now he's doing kind of more of general features for the Star Tribune. He's covered baseball for a long time. He said this is his favorite show.
He told me that the other day.
Yeah, he just loves listening to this show. He said nobody else tells the stories you tell or breaks down the game you do the way you do, and that's why I feel so lucky to have you on the network. Not only did I learn a lot, I'm always so highly entertained by the quality of the stories on here. So it was cool to hear that from a baseball guy like Joe. And if you'd like to advertise with us and reach this kind of audience, you can reach me, JSOUHAN47@gmail.com as we move Talk North forward. Any current events you want to get to? It's the typical baseball. Twins play like dogs in Detroit, look like just horrible. Then they come back and win 2 out of 3 from Cleveland, 2 out of 3 from Boston, while facing great pitching with with most of their lineup not here. It's pretty remarkable. Just what's your gut feeling about this team at this point, as they seem like they've turned a corner in terms of quality of play, and yet they have nobody here for the lineup?
It is remarkable that they beat the caliber pitching that they beat and the teams that they beat. And sometimes it's with hitting. For the most part, I think the salient point here going forward is they're running 5 starters out there that give them a chance to win every night out, and that's really fun. That's fun for a player to go out there and look at the guy on the mound and say, "Yeah, he's going to hold him down. We just have to do our part, right?" Mm-hmm. Therein lies the problem a bit. Because they've got guys hurt or not here, for whatever reason. And, you look at the lineup that you thought was going to be a real contender with Buxton and Sano, and then the other 2 outfielders, Rosario and Kepler. And, Buxton's hurt or not hitting and Kepler really hasn't become Kepler yet. He's shown flashes of absolute brilliance at the plate, especially against left-handers, and gotten some huge hits. But he's hitting 220 something. He's struggling against right-handed pitching, which is, inexplicable to me. So, and Sano is not there. Of course, Polanco is not there. And now, Rosario and Escobar have been carrying them.
Absolutely.
Just absolutely on their backs, carrying the club. And now both those guys are nicked up a little bit. So hopefully they can get through those guys getting back in the lineup. Polanco is going to start getting ready here shortly, and hopefully Kepler can start swinging it. And Morrison just a little bit. They haven't gotten from Logan Morrison what they were hoping they might get. So the lineup in terms of offense, nor have they gotten from Brian Dozier, who typically has struggled till the middle of June and then taken off, and we haven't seen that yet. Hopefully we will. So to answer your question, long-winded way of saying, what I think about this club. I think they have a chance to win every time out because they're starting pitching. Who'd have thunk that, right? Who would have said that? We haven't said that in 10 years. And that might be an exaggeration, but not too much. They have done a terrific job in the front office of giving the club a chance to win with their pitching. And the hitters have not quite matured as quickly as people thought they would, and if they're gonna make a run, and the hitters are gonna have to figure it out here pretty quickly.
Let's finish this up with a Twitter question from Dave Showers. Do you think Vargas will get a chance this year? His AAA stats aren't great, but he's a switch hitter, or will we keep watching Lomo hit 191? I just looked up Vargas' stats. He's hitting 217 in AAA with no real power. He's just not doing it. Morrison, I know he got off to a terrible start. I know he's not having a great year. And I think if you had Escobar, Polanco, Sano, Mao are healthy, then maybe Morrison's role would be reduced. But right now, at least he has a guy who has a chance to do
He's got a
something for
chance.
you.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to just keep running him out there because
Yeah.
you've got he really is the best option that you have. You got to get hopefully that he gets going at some point in time. Now, what will be interesting is to see what they may do, especially against